This year's Nexia Day competition is focused on the brand value of being there for clients and being globally connected. Since our clients support us in our business each day, we decided Nexia Day would provide an amazing opportunity to showcase and support the efforts of a couple of our most globally connected clients. We achieved this by inviting 2 clients, conducting interviews, and producing a video about the important work that they are doing in the world. Our video is entitled, Making Capital Work for Investors, the Developing World, and the Planet.
Well, I'm Ken Newcombe. I'm the CEO and founder of Sequest Capital.
My name is Darius Nassiry. I'm a sustainable finance and climate change expert. I've worked with a number of think tanks in Washington and abroad.
Because as a carbon offset, you can't smell it, feel it, touch it. It's an entirely conceptual product, just like the market itself. So you had to imagine it and figure out how you could define it contractually, what it meant physically, what was different that could generate an emission, a unit of greenhouse gas emissions reductions compared to the baseline.
Over the last 10 years or so, there's been a growing interest in sustainable finance. And in that context, people are increasingly interested in how to mobilize capital for low carbon, climate resilient investments. One of the mechanisms to do that is through an institutional response, such as a green investment bank. These are specialist institutions that are usually quite location specific. The UK has had a green investment bank, Australia, a number of other jurisdictions have taken the step to form an institution that mobilizes private capital and directs that capital to sustainable investments. These could be offshore wind, they could be solar farms, they could even be residential energy efficiency investments. And these institutions are really geared to identify bankable investments, mobilize private capital, and then direct that capital to these kinds of investment opportunities.
Smoke is now the single biggest killer of women and kids in the world. It's bigger than tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS and malaria combined. And so if you can make combustion much more efficient through the kind of stove that you provide and reduce the smoke, you're having a double impact on health. You're not having women carry a heavy burden over long distances, which causes spinal damage and soft tissue damage, and the risks of being abused when they're outside their village boundary. And when they're in the kitchen, they're not inhaling the equivalent of 2 packs of cigarettes a day just by virtue of cooking for their family.
The first reason is that these are long-term investments, as you noticed, and the physics of climate change means that sustainable investment will be the direction of the future. It's unlikely that we can see long-term growth from a fossil fuel and extraction economy because the physics of climate change are going to catch up to the real economy and lower the value of those investments over time.
And a very special thank you to Ken Newcombe, Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Sequest Capital, and Darius Nassiry, climate change, energy, and sustainable finance expert, for sharing their experience and expertise.